Hello students, welcome back. In this video we will be studying on chapter 5, that is law of supply and shift of supply curve. Let us study what is a supply. Supply refers to the quantity of commodity which a producer is ready to supply or sell at a particular price and time. So supply refers to any quantity of a commodity which a producer is willing to sell at a particular price in a given period of time. Students, suppose you happen to visit a market. So there you will find many sellers selling varieties of goods and services. And these sellers sell goods and services to the people, and we call that as a supply. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, factors determining supply. So in this topic we are going to study what are the factors or what are the reasons affecting supply of a commodity. So first, factors determining supply on price of the commodity. Price is the main factor that influences the supply of a product. It means as price increases, the quantity supplied of the given commodity rises and vice versa. It happens because at higher price, there are greater chances of making profit. So for a producer, when price increases, he will try to supply more goods and services because at higher prices there are greater chances of earning profit. However, if price of a commodity decreases, then quantity supplied will also decrease. So for a producer, when the price is low, he will not earn much profit, so he will supply less amount of goods and services. So supply of a commodity is directly related to the own price of the commodity. Point number 2, change in technology. A better and advanced technology increases the production of a product, which result in the increase in the supply of the product, leading to more profit. For example, the production of fertilizers and good quality seeds increases the production of crops. Better transport facilities increases the supply of a product. It induces the seller to increase the supply. However, technological degradation and outdated technology will increase the cost of production and it will lead to decrease in supply. So if in an economy technology are outdated and there is technological degradation, then it will lead to decrease in supply of a commodity. Next, point number 3. Change in price of inputs or factors of production. So change in price of inputs or factors of production also influences supply of a commodity. So here inputs means raw materials used for the production of goods and services. When the amount payable to factors of production and cost of inputs increases, the cost of production also increases. This decreases the profitability. Okay, so if the price of inputs increases, the cost of production also increases. So if the cost of production increases, then it will decrease the profitability of the seller. As a result, seller reduces the supply of the commodity. On the other hand, decrease in prices of factors of production or inputs increases the supply, and due to fall in cost of production, and subsequent rise in profit margin. So if the price of inputs or factors of production decreases, then supplier will increase its supply, and it will lead to subsequent rise in profit margin. Okay. I'll give you an example, students. To make ice cream, firms needs various inputs like sugar, machine, labor, etc. When price of one or more of these inputs rises, producing ice creams will become less profitable and firms will supply less ice cream. Point number 4, change in excise duty. Government levies various taxes on production of goods such as excise duty, GST, etc., which have a huge impact on the cost of production. So, government levies various taxes of production from the producer for producing goods and services. So, increase in taxes raises the cost of production and thus reduces the supply. So if the government increases the tax rate, the cost of production will increase, and as a result, producer will reduces its supply of goods and services in the market. On the other hand, tax concession and subsidies increases the supply. So if the government gives concession on taxes and at the same time give subsidies to the producer, then producer will increase its supply in the economy. Point number 5, price of other related goods. So quantity supplied of a commodity also depends on price of other commodities. If the price of related good rises, then the firm increases the supply of the goods having a higher price. This leads to a drop in the supply of goods having a lower price. So suppliers will try to supply more goods and services that have a higher price. So it will lead to decrease in the supply of goods having a lower price. Now, for example, let's assume that a farmer can produce wheat and rice on a plot of land. So if the price of rice increases, the farmer would tend to grow more of rice than wheat, because producing rice makes him earn more profit. So he will divert all the resources in the production of rice. As a result, supply of rice will increase. Point number 6, objective of the firm. Generally, supply of a commodity increases only at higher prices as it fulfills the objective of profit maximization. However, with change in trend, sometimes a firm may be induced to increase supply of a commodity not because it is more profitable, but to enhance their status and prestige. The last point number 7, nature of the commodity. The supply of agricultural products depends upon number of factors like irrigation facilities, supply of seeds, insecticides, agricultural practices, etc. So if more of these factors are supplied, then agricultural products will increase, and if the supply of these factors are less, agricultural products will decrease. So students, these are the factors determining supply of a commodity, on price of a commodity, change in technology, change in prices of inputs or factors of production, change in excise duty, price of other related goods, objective of the firm, and nature of the commodity. Let's go to next topic, market supply. So market supply means a total quantity of a commodity supplied by all the producers in a given price during a given period of time. So market supply means quantity supplied by all the producers. Next topic, factors determining market supply. So we have the first factors determining market supply, that is number of firms. So here, larger the number of firms, larger will be the market supply, and smaller the number of firms, smaller will be the market supply. Point number 2, goals of the firm. So in market supply, the goals of the firm is to earn profit maximization, which influence the market supply. Point number 2, goals of the firm. So for a producer, its main objective is profit maximization, which influence market supply. Point number 3, expected change in future price. If a seller expects the price of a commodity to fall in future, he will increase current supply of the commodity. Okay, students, in the previous video we have already studied what is demand. So here I will give you a quick review on what is demand and supply. And as you study this demand and supply, you should be able to differentiate well what is demand and what is supply. So demand, we are talking about consumer, and consumer buy goods and services. Okay, demand means consumer, consumer buy goods and services. Now in supply, we refer to producer or seller or firm, and these producer, sellers or firms supply or sell goods. Okay, supply, producer, seller, and they supply or sell goods and services. Now in demand, as price rises, demand decreases. Okay, as price rises, demand decreases. Now as price falls, demand increases. Okay, so with the rise in price, consumer demand less goods and services, and with the fall in price, consumer demand more goods and services. Okay, now here in supply, we are talking about producers. So as price rises, suppliers will increase its supply, because at higher prices he will earn more profit. Now as price falls, suppliers will also decrease its supply, because when the price is low, when the price is less, he will earn less profit. Now let us study the difference between demand curve and supply curve. So students, here you will find the differences in the curve, that is demand curve and supply curve. Now here in demand curve, when the price is low, demand will be more. So at price 8, demand is 6. Now if price rises to 16, then quantity demanded will decrease to 5. Now if it increases further to 40, if price rises to 40, quantity demanded decreases to 2. Okay, and DD is the demand curve. So this is a demand curve, and DD slopes downward. Now here in supply curve, as price rises, quantity supplied will also increase. So when price is 8, quantity supplied is 10. Now as price rises to 16, quantity supplied is 20. When price rises to 24, quantity supplied is 30. When price rises further to 32, quantity supplied is 40. And when price is at 40, quantity supplied is 50. So SS is the supply curve. Now how to differentiate between demand curve and supply curve is, demand curve DD slopes downward. Okay students, always remember demand curve DD slopes downward, whereas supply curve SS slopes upward. So this is how you can differentiate between demand curve and supply curve.